Hi guys, Alex here again. Now, the lovely guys at Lomography sent me over their DIY Konstruktor camera to test out. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of rundown of what my thoughts are on it. Now, this was provided free of charge by Lomography with no obligation, and my thoughts and everything expressed in this is my own. So let's get started. So you can see here's the version of the camera I built. This is the version with the sync port, so you could use it with a flash. I haven't tested that out yet, but I will try to at some point in the future. Now I've gone for this sort of red leatherette on the camera itself, just to, give it a bit of colour. There are options for the white and black leatherette as well, if you just wanted to keep it more plain, and a few stickers in the box. Now, if you want to see a full build of the camera, I'll link that somewhere up here. I did a full sort of ASMR stream build on it when I put it together in January. So feel free to go have a look there. But for the time being, we're just going to talk about the issues that I found and what I enjoyed about it. So let's get started. Now, starting with the manual, you do get this lovely instruction manual that is fully illustrated. And it does include, obviously, all the build instructions. And you have a look through here, you'll notice that it is in several different languages. So the actual written instructions aren't very detailed. And this is where I fell down a couple of times. So if you ever watch my build stream or my build video, then you'll see that I put a couple of bits in the wrong way up to start with, because I wasn't paying attention to the diagrams too closely. And in the end, once I'd finished the build, I actually had to dismantle the camera a little bit to put things in the right way round. The build itself was fairly straightforward. There are a few fiddly bits. I think it all was reasonably good. It was good fun to put together the camera, and good fun to sort of, have a camera that you have actually built yourself. And, I mean, obviously it's plasticky, but the price point of it is, as a fun gift to keep someone busy on an afternoon, but then they can go out and take some photos with it afterwards. So there were a couple of issues that I had with the build, which I don't think were down to my ability to build the camera. The first was the focus screen. So if you have a look in here, you obviously have a plastic matte focus screen. Now, I found that after I'd assembled the camera, sort of having a look through, testing everything out, but it wouldn't hit. You couldn't see infinity focus through the viewfinder when the lens was set to infinity. So I was thinking, oh, well, is this the lens? Have I put something together wrong in the lens, or is it something in the viewfinder? So what I did was I opened up the back, got a bit of tracing paper, tracing paper, put it over the window, and then set it on bulb mode, and look through there. And I found that it was the same. So it was fine at infinity focus. You could get to infinity on the baking paper, tracing paper here, but the viewfinder wasn't showing infinity focus. And the fix for that for me was to actually install the focusing screen upside down. Now, this did involve trimming a little bit off the focusing screen. Now, I'm not sure if that's just a me issue, because I've never built one of these before. Maybe I got a different piece in the wrong place or something like that, or whether it is a manufacturing issue or anything like that. But effectively, yeah, so instead of the matte part of the focusing screen being on the bottom, it is on the top of that thin little bit of plastic there. So the other issue I had was that the film indicator dial here seems to move around independently of the plate that it's on. And I didn't really think much of it when I did the build. There wasn't anything in the instructions about using any glue or sticking it down or it being a sticker or anything like that. But when I came to shoot the camera, I did find that when I was winding it on, I was accidentally catching this. So the film sequence was getting out of order. So, when I wound it, it was saying I'd move like 3 frames forward and such, instead of just the one. And that was entirely because trying to turn this, especially in cold weather with gloves on, it was, I was knocking the film dial here and it was just spinning. Now again, I think that's sort of like a bit of a design oversight. Maybe this up here is supposed to be tighter, but I couldn't get it to tighten down anymore. to like help secure it on. But I think just a little bit of tape to hold this piece on would be the best, would be very helpful. So how's the shooting experience? I took this out to a very miserable and dreary day in Leeds, and I loaded it with some Lomography Berlin ISO 400 film, which was what is suggested in the manual for, cloudy days. I think with this being an f10 lens, you would want something faster for a very cloudy day, like I had, because of quite a few of the images came out a bit underexposed. But that we can put that down to me not putting the right film in the camera for the conditions, so that's not too bad. Looking at these clips, we'll see that there's quite a few double exposures that I did, and that's because the winding mechanism is independent from the shutter mechanism to allow for multiple exposures. Me being me, half time I forgot to wind it on, and therefore cocked it and fired another shot. Sometimes like 3 or 4 shots on the same frame, which do make for some interesting effects. It wasn't intentional, but it's all good fun, really all good fun. Now, the other issue I had on the day was that I actually only got 21 frames out of the 36 roll on here, because after the 21 frames, it jammed. Now, I appreciate this is a plastic camera, so it's not going to be perfect. And I mean, I built it, so, it's definitely not going to be perfect, is it? But, when you get to that and you end up with sort of this much wasted film on a roll, it's a bit disappointing, really. And I mean, I suppose with the way the weather was, I probably didn't want to be staying out and about for another hour or so in the rain to take photos. But because of the dial moving around, I didn't actually know how many shots I'd taken at the time. I just assumed I got to the end of the roll and just rewound it, and that was all fine. I thought it was all fine, and then it was only after I developed the film that I realised, oh, hang on, half the film's blank, or a third of the film's blank. But let's be honest here, what is this camera for? Predominantly, it is toy. It's a bit of fun, and it was fun to put it together. I did enjoy putting it together, and I enjoyed playing with it and messing around with it. And you're never going to be using it for serious photographic work. It is there to enjoy and have that build experience. So, does it matter that there are a few problems? The build issues, I think it could make it a little bit clearer in the instructions, maybe tighten those off and make them a bit nicer. But, the shooting caveats are, are what you expect, and any other sort of plastic toy camera or point and shoot will have similar limitations. Lens itself is a plastic single-piece meniscus lens, and it is not sharp in my opinion. I didn't find that, or none of the images that I've taken were especially sharp. I had most of them set to infinity. I was taking pictures of things far enough away that everything should be in focus at infinity. But yeah, I didn't find it particularly sharp. But again, this is a fun camera, so does it matter? No. Where I'd like to try this camera, where I think this camera will shine, will be in sort of like a bit of a party environment. Get a flash that you can hook up with the sync port here, and just rattle off a few frames of some color film with the flash, and I think it'll feel very, very disposable camera retro. And I think that's where this is aimed, sort of a bit disposable camera plus disposable camera with a more interesting viewfinder. So once again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like or a comment or whatever it is that YouTube wants you to do to actually get people to see these videos. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.